Everyone in the American gang scene knows about the notorious brothers Demetrius "Big Meech" Flenory and Tori Lee Flenory. The mere mention of their names sends shivers down the spines of those who know how much power they yield in New York's criminal underbelly. While the Flenory brothers rule the BMF empire, Tiffany J. "Tough" BMF Nelson is the financial mastermind. To date, Nelson is still considered one of the smartest money laundering geniuses in organized crime. Over the years, there have been multiple deadly black mafia bosses. While many have died or been arrested, others are still active underground. These are their stories. Tori Lee Flenory. Tori Lee Flenory, widely known as Southwest T, is one of the most dangerous men in the history of American organized crime. As a co-founder of the Black Mafia family, BMF, Tori played a crucial role in establishing one of the largest and most influential drug trafficking organizations in the United States. Southwest T was instrumental in the BMF's operations, focusing on logistics and distribution. His strategic acumen and ability to manage the organization's vast network of associates were key to the BMF's success. Under his leadership, the BMF expanded its reach, establishing a stronghold in the drug trade and amassing significant wealth. The organization's operations were not limited to drug trafficking. They also ventured into the music industry, using it as a front to launder money and legitimize their earnings. In October 2021, Tori Lee Flenory was allegedly involved in a shooting incident. Currently, Tori Lee Flenory is under home confinement. Initially sentenced to 30 years in prison, Tori was released on the 5th of May 2020 before serving his full term. There are those who believe he is still active underground, just like his brother, who we will be discussing next. Demetrius "Big Meech" Flenory. Demetrius "Big Meech" Flenory is another renowned gangster in organized crime history. As a co-founder of the Black Mafia family, BMF, Big Meech played a pivotal role in establishing one of the most influential drug trafficking organizations in the United States. Big Meech's vision for the Black Mafia family was not just about drug trafficking, it was about creating an empire. Under his leadership, the BMF expanded its operations beyond the streets and into the realms of music and entertainment, using these industries as fronts to launder drug money. The organization's reach was extensive, with operations in numerous states and a network that included hundreds of associates. In 2008, Big Meech was convicted for his role in running the BMF's extensive drug trafficking network. The organization was estimated to have earned nearly $270 million from drug distribution, with the proceeds being laundered through various legitimate businesses. Big Meech was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Despite being behind bars, Big Meech's influence continued to be felt. He was eventually released before completing his sentence and is rumored to still be leading the crime underworld. While Big Meech is known for his ruthless rule of the BMF, the next person on our list was known for his financial skills. Carl Von Garrett. Carl Von Garrett is prominent within the ranks of Black Mafia. His involvement with the organization is marked by a blend of cunning financial maneuvers and a deep understanding of the underworld's economic dynamics. Garrett's role within the organization was not just as a participant, but as a key player who orchestrated complex financial operations that kept the wheels of the Black Mafia turning. Garrett's criminal endeavors reached a critical point when he was indicted on charges that would expose the intricate web of money laundering he had woven. He faced one count of conspiracy to commit money laundering and 2 counts of money laundering. The indictment alleged that nearly $1 million of drug proceeds were laundered between March and May 2021. The investigation that led to Garrett's indictment was spearheaded by the St. Louis Gateway Strike Force, a specialized unit within the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force. Their efforts were instrumental in bringing to light the extent of Garrett's involvement in money laundering and his pivotal role within the Black Mafia. Garrett was a laundering guru, but the next person on our list was a drug lord, the best drug lord affiliated with the family. Tori Sims. As a key member of the BMF, Tori Sims carved out a reputation as the biggest drug dealer with BMF. His involvement with the BMF was marked by a deep entrenchment in the drug trade, where he played a pivotal role in the distribution of narcotics across the region. Sims's criminal activities eventually caught the attention of law enforcement, leading to a concerted effort to dismantle his operations. In 2006, approximately a year after a focused investigation, Sims was captured, marking a significant victory for authorities in their battle against the BMF. During the trial, wiretapped conversations between Sims and leaders of the Black Mafia family were presented as critical evidence. The evidence presented during the trial was overwhelming, leading to Sims's conviction by a federal jury in Louisville. He was found guilty of possession and distribution of cocaine, charges that underscore the gravity of his criminal activities. The trial lasted 4 days, during which the prosecution meticulously laid out the case against Sims. His conviction didn't mark the end of his career, as there have been whispers of Sims maintaining his grip on the drug trade. Of course, Sims isn't the only drug lord who can't be stopped by jail, as you'll see with our next BMF boss. Samir Simpson Bay. Samir Simpson Bay is a figure whose name has become synonymous with the dark underbelly of the drug trade in the United States. His criminal activities have placed him at the center of a network that spans from local street operations to international drug cartels. Simpson Bay's involvement in the distribution of fentanyl, a potent synthetic opioid, has been a focal point of law enforcement investigations. In October, he was charged with knowingly distributing more than 40 grams of fentanyl, a quantity that police equate to 20,000 lethal doses. Simpson Bay's criminal activities are not limited to fentanyl distribution. In 2016, he, along with numerous others, faced charges related to the distribution of cocaine and heroin. These charges were linked to drug kingpins Adrian Lemons and Jose Velasquez Cavazos, the latter being a member of the notorious Sinaloa cartel. The charges against Simpson Bay paint a picture of a man deeply entrenched in the drug trade, with connections that extend beyond local operations to international cartels. In detention hearings, federal prosecutors described Simpson Bay and the other 24 individuals arrested with him as members or associates of the Black Mafia family. While Simpson Bay could not avoid the charges, our next BMF boss was so notorious he outsmarted the criminal justice system. Derek D. Meeks. Derek D. Meeks. Meeks' journey through the criminal justice system is marked by resilience and strategic maneuvering. As a member of the Black Mafia, Meeks found himself entangled in a web of legal challenges that tested his resolve and resourcefulness. His arrest on 4 charges was a significant moment in his life, bringing him face to face with the formidable machinery of law enforcement. Despite the gravity of the charges, Meeks demonstrated an uncanny ability to navigate the legal landscape, ultimately beating every case against him. The secret to Meeks' success in court lay in his strategic foresight and financial acumen. Understanding the importance of a robust legal defense, Meeks set aside ample funds to secure the services of the best lawyer he could find. This decision proved to be pivotal, as his skilled attorney meticulously dismantled the prosecution's case, leveraging every legal avenue available to secure Meeks' acquittal. The courtroom battles were intense, but Meeks' investment in top-tier legal representation paid off, allowing him to walk free despite the serious nature of the charges at the time. Not every dangerous BMF member is a man. Some were women who used their feminine charm to navigate the drug trade. Tiffany J. Tough BMF Nelson. Tiffany J. Tough BMF Nelson is another notable figure within the infamous Black Mafia family, BMF. As a member of the BMF, Nelson's role was integral to the financial operations that supported the organization's illicit activities. Nelson's criminal activities came under scrutiny when she was indicted for money laundering. The investigation into Nelson's activities was part of a broader effort by law enforcement to target the financial networks that underpin BMF's organized crime. This approach is crucial in dismantling organizations like the BMF, as it disrupts their ability to finance their operations and maintain their influence. Special Agent in charge, Michael A. Davis, hailed the operation as a major success in the fight against drug trafficking, emphasizing the importance of targeting the financial aspects of organized crime. The indictment of Tiffany Nelson was not just a victory for law enforcement, it was a significant blow to the BMF and Nelson. However, her incarceration didn't stop her from working behind the scenes. She remains a valuable asset in the criminal underbelly of the country. While Nelson was known for her efficiency in laundering, the next boss on our list was known for his large drug distribution channels. Jabari Hayes. Jabari Hayes played a crucial role in the logistics and distribution network that facilitated the movement of drugs across the United States. His position within the organization was that of a courier and distributor, responsible for ensuring that large quantities of narcotics reached their intended destinations without detection by law enforcement. He was one of the most powerful members of the family, but he eventually hit a stumbling block. The turning point in Jabari Hayes' criminal career came on April 11, 2004, when he was pulled over in Phelps County, Missouri, along Interstate 44. Driving a 40-foot motor home, Hayes was initially stopped for allegedly swerving over the fog line. However, this routine traffic stop quickly escalated into a significant drug bust when a K-9 unit alerted officers to the presence of drugs in the vehicle. Upon searching the motorhome, law enforcement discovered 2 suitcases containing approximately 95 kilograms of cocaine and 572 grams of marijuana in the back of a Range Rover that was being towed. While Hayes is the emperor of drug distribution, the next boss on our list allowed BMF to use his business as a front for money laundering. Jacob Arabo. Jacob Arabo, the founder of Jacob & Company, had built a reputation as one of the most sought-after jewelers in the industry. His clientele included A-list celebrities, business moguls, and even royalty. In the early 2000s, Arabo's jewelry company was allegedly used as a front for the Black Mafia family's money laundering operations. Arabo's association with BMF and Flenory began when the jeweler started providing Flenory and other BMF members with expensive jewelry and luxury items. These items were allegedly purchased with illicit funds, and Arabo was accused of being aware of the source of the money. As the investigation into BMF's activities intensified, Arabo found himself at the center of a federal probe. In 2006, he was charged with lying to federal investigators about his business dealings with Flenory and BMF. Arabo maintained that he was unaware of BMF's illicit activities and only did business with Flenory as a legitimate jeweler. Arabo's cooperation with investigators ultimately led to his guilty plea in 2008. The fallout from Arabo's association with BMF was significant. However, Arabo's legacy as a master jeweler endured, and he continued to operate his business, albeit under a cloud of controversy. The next story is a bit unusual, as our next BMF boss decided to turn a new leaf and inspire others. Edric Boyd. Edric Boyd is a renowned Detroit drug kingpin and street legend. He is notably recognized as the first drug supplier and street mentor to Demetrius B-Mickie McKnight. Boyd, S relationship with Demetrius B-Mickie McKnight is also an interesting aspect of his story. As Flenory's mentor and supplier, Boyd played a significant role in the early days of the Black Mafia family, BMF. However, as Flenory's empire grew, Boyd began to distance himself from the organization, recognizing the dangers and consequences of their actions. Edric Boyd's life story is one of both notoriety and redemption. He was a major figure in Detroit's illicit drug trade during the 1980s and 1990s. However, after serving time in prison, Boyd allegedly turned his life around and now seeks to impart wisdom to the younger generation. Through sharing his life experiences and the lessons he has learned, Edric Boyd aims to guide young people toward a more positive and productive path. Boyd is still trying to impact the world positively, but the next person on our list is running the streets from behind bars. Fleming Daniels. Fleming Daniels was a top member of the BMF drug ring. His story is one of ambition, crime, and eventual downfall. His journey through the criminal underworld is marked by a series of events that highlight the pervasive influence of the Black Mafia family. On December 17, 2008, the gavel fell in a federal courtroom, sealing Daniels' fate with a 20-year prison sentence for drug trafficking. The federal judge, recognizing the gravity of Daniels' involvement, also imposed a fine of $10,000. Daniels' role within the Black Mafia family was not that of a mere foot soldier. His indictment was part of a larger crackdown on the Black Mafia family, which saw numerous members brought to justice. In Atlanta, Daniels was the 16th defendant to be indicted on charges related to the organization's activities. What set him apart was his decision to go to trial, a bold move considering that 11 of his co-defendants had already pleaded guilty, opting for plea deals. This simply shows how powerful he is. Daniels dominated the drug ring, and there are rumors that he is still working underground. The next lesson on our list used his music to support the family. Wershe McKnight. Wershe Blue Da Vinci McKnight was the sole artist of BMF Entertainment. McKnight's life is a blend of the glamorous and the illicit, a path that has captivated both fans and law enforcement alike. McKnight's journey into the world of the Black Mafia family began with his foray into the music industry. As a rapper, he was the face of BMF Entertainment, a label that was as much a front for the organization's drug operations as it was a legitimate business venture. The allure of the music industry provided the perfect cover for the Black Mafia family's activities, allowing them to launder money and maintain a veneer of respectability. It was said that McKnight's small hands were used to retrieve the last kilogram or two of cocaine from stash spots that others could not access. However, the reality behind the scenes was far from glamorous. On October 30th, 2008, McKnight was sentenced to 5 years and 4 months in federal prison for his involvement with the Black Mafia family. During his sentencing, McKnight revealed a glimpse into the deceptive world he had become a part of. While McKnight remained loyal to the end, the next boss on our list turned against the Black Mafia family. Dar Carlo Hoskins. Dar Carlo Hoskins was an associate of the Black Mafia. His journey into the criminal underworld is marked by his arrest and subsequent charges for possession and trafficking of cocaine. During his interactions with law enforcement, Hoskins revealed crucial information about a crew that was actively selling large quantities of cocaine along Boulevard. This disclosure provided a glimpse into the extensive network of distribution that the Black Mafia had established, a network that spanned multiple states and involved numerous individuals. Hoskins' willingness to divulge information about about the crew operating along Boulevard was a strategic move, one that law enforcement hoped would lead to further arrests and the eventual dismantling of the drug distribution network. It was also a move of self-preservation. His role as an associate placed him in a position where he was both a participant in and a witness to the operations that fueled the organization's success. Hoskins' betrayal for self-preservation was a stark contrast to the case of the next drug lord, who stayed loyal to his roots. Omari Latif McCree. Omari Latif McCree was entangled in the criminal underworld and faced legal troubles and the challenges of navigating a life on the edge. McCree's involvement with the Black Mafia family placed him at the heart of a sprawling drug empire, one that was known for its extensive operations and ruthless enforcement tactics. His role within the organization was key, involving both the distribution of narcotics and the maintenance of the group's influence in various territories. Unfortunately, he faced legal issues that reflected the personal toll of his involvement in organized crime. Charged with battery, McCree was accused of hitting and punching his girlfriend's friend in the face and slamming her to the ground. This incident, while separate from his activities within the Black Mafia family, is what led to his downfall. Despite making a bond of $2,500, McCree found himself held at the Fulton County Jail. This was due to a violation of the conditions of his parole, stemming from a 2005 conviction of cocaine trafficking. While McCree wasn't napped because of his direct links to the gang, the next person on our list was Vernon Marcus Coleman. Vernon Marcus Coleman represents a chapter in the ongoing saga of organized crime's pervasive influence. As a member of the Notorious group, Coleman was known for his involvement in drug trafficking. He was a high-ranking member of the organization, but his arrest on July 17, 2009 in Atlanta marked the beginning of his troubles. Coleman had been indicted in 2007 for possession with intent to distribute cocaine, directly linked to the BMF. This indictment was part of a broader crackdown on the Black Mafia's activities, reflecting the extensive reach of their operations and the challenges faced by authorities in bringing its members to justice. The arrest of Coleman was not just a personal downfall, but a critical moment in the fight against organized crime. Coleman's role within this network was crucial, as he was responsible for ensuring the smooth flow of narcotics, a task that required both skill and discretion that not many could handle. While Coleman was caught with narcotics, the next person on our list was wiretapped and used to catch a bigger fish. Raphael "Smurf" Allison. Raphael Smurf. Allison's name has been whispered in the corridors of the Black Mafia's operations for years. Known as a low-level crack dealer, Allison's actions played a crucial role in the broader scheme of the Black Mafia's activities. In mid-September 2004, a wiretap placed on Allison became a pivotal point in the investigation conducted by the High-Intensity Drug Trafficking Area, HITA Task Force. Allison, despite his position as a low-level dealer, was a key link in the chain that led investigators to more significant players within the organization. The HITA Task Force, part of a federal program aimed at combating drug trafficking, tailed Allison as he moved through his daily routine. Their surveillance took them from his neighborhood near Turner Field to an apartment complex off Howell Mill Road. This complex was believed to be home to Allison's supplier, a mid-level dealer named Dar Carlo Hoskins. Allison's activities as a crack dealer were part of a larger distribution network. The information gathered from the wiretap and subsequent surveillance provided law enforcement with valuable insights into the logistics and strategies employed by the Black Mafia, showing just how important his role was. Not every drug lord on this list was a BMF member, though. Some were inspired by the group to create their own groups. Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is synonymous with the rise of the Junior Black Mafia, JBM, in Philadelphia. As the founder and street boss of this notorious organization, Jones was all about ambition, power, and the violent enforcement tactics that defined the JBM's reign. His influence and leadership transformed the JBM into one of the most feared entities in the history of black organized crime, drawing inspiration from its predecessor, the Black Mafia. Jones's ascent to power began in the mid-1980s, a period marked by the burgeoning drug trade and the accompanying violence that gripped Philadelphia. The JBM, under Jones's leadership, quickly established itself as a dominant force, controlling the city's drug market with an iron fist. Between 1985 and 1991, the organization built a multi-million-dollar empire, fueled by the distribution of narcotics and the ruthless elimination of competition. The organization's structure allowed the JBM to maintain control over the distribution of drugs, while also enforcing strict discipline among its members. In a dramatic turn of events, Aaron Jones was eventually apprehended and is currently on death row in Pennsylvania, but this hasn't stopped him from running his gang underground. Jones was black like many other BMF members, unlike the next person on our list who was white. Richard Wershe Jr. Richard Wershe Jr., aka White Boy Rick, is a notorious figure in American crime history. Wershe became involved in the drug trade at a young age and quickly rose to prominence as a major player. Wershe's nickname, White Boy Rick, was due to his being one of the few white individuals in the predominantly African-American Detroit drug trade. He was known for his connections to various Detroit gangs, including BMF, and his ability to navigate the alliances and rivalries within the city's underworld. In the mid-1980s, Wershe became an FBI informant, providing information about his associates and rivals in the drug trade. However, his cooperation with the authorities was short-lived, and he soon returned to his life of crime. In 1987, Wershe was arrested and charged with possession of cocaine with intent to distribute. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole, but his sentence was later commuted. After serving over 30 years in prison, Wershe was released on July 20, 2020, having completed his sentence with credits for good behavior. Chaddy J-Bo Brown. Chaddy J-Bo Brown is another prominent member of the Black Mafia family, BMF, a notorious organized crime group. However, Brown was indicted on charges related to bank fraud and submitting false documents to obtain a Paycheck Protection Program (PPP) loan. According to reports, Brown submitted a fraudulent IRS Schedule C form to obtain the loan, which is a federal crime. He was also accused of being a self-reported member of the BMF. Brown's affiliation with the BMF and his alleged involvement in fraudulent activities is what led to his arrest and indictment. He is currently being held in jail. However, it was specifically his involvement in fraud that led to his arrest, and there wasn't enough evidence to prove that he was indeed involved in drug trafficking due to his alleged affiliation with Black Mafia. Brown's case was unique because most members of the Black Mafia family were secretive about their association and careful with implicating information. He seemed to have wanted to increase his street credibility by declaring himself a notorious member of the BMF. While he turned himself in, the last person on our list was caught red-handed with bricks of cocaine and cash. Richard McKendrick, Sr. Richard McKendrick Sr. was a key figure in a large-scale cocaine trafficking operation tied to the notorious Black Mafia family. On April 2, 2008, law enforcement officials executed a search warrant, uncovering a treasure trove of evidence that would ultimately lead to McKendrick's downfall. Among the items seized were specialized equipment used to press and package cocaine into kilogram-sized bricks, as well as various materials used to distribute the narcotics. Perhaps most damning, however, was the significant amount of USD found on the premises, suspected to be proceeds from the illicit drug trade. McKendrick's alleged ties to the BMF, founded by brothers Demetrius Big Meech Flenory and Terry Southwest T. Flenory, suggested that he played a significant role in the organization's cocaine trafficking operations. As the investigation unfolded, McKendrick's involvement in the BMF's illicit activities became increasingly clear. He eventually went to prison, but is still regarded as one of the most feared members of the BMF. Thanks for watching. Check out the other cards on the screen.